So we kept in contact, and in December we exchanged greetings and
exchanged what?
Greetings, like
Greetings.
Christmas greetings. And I honestly did not think anything would come out of this more, because she was set to go to China, go to Beijing.
Yeah.
And then what?
On another work trip.
On another work trip. And then on the 4th or the 5th of January.
No, it was the 4th, it was my birthday.
Yeah.
So I was on a hill walk with my mum. We were up the Pentland Hills and I was out of signal, so I got a voice message on my mobile and I listened to it when we were coming back down the hill, and it was a message from work saying that they were having to postpone or cancel the trip to China, which I was quite glad of because I didn't really want to go to China at the end of January because it would be too cold. But that they wanted me to do another trip, and that would be to Reykjavik, which was quite surreal because A, it was another cold place and B, it was going to be the way of coming over to see you without either of us really making that first major step of I'll come to you or you'll come to me kind of thing. And I was telling my mum about this and she didn't really understand why I would be so excited about going to Iceland.
And for me it was kind of a nice surprise to see her come over. I had really wanted to meet her again, and I then got really nervous because she would be coming over. I had to plan a sightseeing tour for her, and I've never done this before. I
started researching what to do in Iceland and obviously came up with the typical things like Blue Lagoon.
I picked her up around 10 o'clock. She was wearing the blue coat. I think I remember that, yeah. She got into the car and the disaster struck. I was so nervous that I kept on talking for 10 to 15 minutes. Solid.
Yeah. Looking back, it was cute, but at the time I was like, wow, I don't really remember that you spoke this much.
So we drove around Reykjavik for about half an hour.
Yeah.
Then we went up to the Blue Lagoon. And by that point, we were standing in the queue. I wanted to hold her hand. I have to admit that.
It was kind of a bit like being teenagers again.
It was being teenagers, and I was like, if I grab her hand, she's going to be totally freaked out, and she has to get herself back home if she doesn't want to go with me, so this might be very awkward, so I didn't do it. I got to the register and it almost crushed the date because the price of the Blue Lagoon,
yeah.
Well, let's just say it surprised me. I thought
it was an expensive first date.
We probably got the best of the Blue Lagoon. We got sunshine, we got rain, even a little bit of snow.
It was snowing a bit, yeah.
And we spent there, and
it was incredibly romantic though.
Yeah, and about an hour in, I asked you, no, I told you I was going to kiss you.
Yeah.
And I did, and yeah, that sightseeing tour turned into the longest date of my life. We spent 12 hours together. Sonia went back home, and we have been FaceTiming and Facebooking ever since. We were spending maybe 2 hours a night talking.
Yeah, probably.
Every night.
Sometimes I fell asleep whilst on FaceTime.
Yeah, it's like, babe, we can do this another night.
It's what you do though, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had started already planning the next trip, which was going to be you coming over for Easter. And
this was the point where my mum was actually down in London, and so I met up with her and I announced to her that I wouldn't be coming home for Easter because I'd met someone, and yeah, I think she was trying to contain the joy.
Yeah.
Until I told her that he lived in Iceland.
I took her up to my old hometown. We spent some days in my aunt's cabin. Yeah. Thank you, Sudir. I think that just about that time I realized that I was falling in love with you, and we had a very romantic moment back home. Around that same time, she invited me with her to a wedding that summer.
Paul and Haley's wedding. So it was the first time you met like my friends, and we kind of had a weekend away, not at each other's flats. And then we moved on from friends and weddings to family.
Yeah.
I had met your sister on the first date over here.
Mm-hmm. And you met my sister and my mom and my brother before you left?
Yeah, on the Easter trip.
Yeah.
And then my uncle was actually having a birthday party, which was going to be over in Poland. I landed first because I was flying from Bournemouth over, and then you flew in via Germany.
Yeah.
And then we maybe had like 2 hours together.
2 hours.
And then my mum arrived, and on the plane with my mum was my aunt, 2 cousins, my mum's partner, and then there was another plane that came in half an hour after that, and all of my other aunts and uncles and cousins and their kids arrived. So within about an hour, Ingimar had met the entire family, really. Yeah. After Poland, then we wanted something a bit more normal.
Yeah.
So I decided in the summer holidays from university that I would bring my work and work over here. We just moved into your flat for a month, and we just kind of had a place to ourselves. Go shopping and make a dinner together and just
be a proper couple.
Yeah, normal.
I
as
think,
normal as we can be.
I think this is the test period I got. What do you call it? Trial. Exactly. It's a trial period. It was,
we definitely learned a lot about each other, because we'd gone from the 40 minutes initial date to a 12-hour date, and then
couple of trips together.
Which were really exciting things, but they weren't like a normal kind of
They were kind of like, they were honeymoon-like.
Yeah. And then constant FaceTiming. So none of it was kind of what you... Well, I don't know. Maybe that is quite normal these days.
Maybe. I don't know. When you think back, you think that we were moving on really fast, but I think that when you have the FaceTime / Skype thing going on, you get to know the person a lot better. You talk about things, and it's like you don't have the physical presence, so you have to be more into the person in the first place, so that the conversation goes on. And I think that we bonded much more in that way. So when we started living together, we had to get used to each other's physical presence much more.
Yeah. Because we knew so much about each other, but we didn't really know what it was like to be around each other.
Iceland is a very direct language, and we don't have a really good word for please, for instance. Yeah. And so when I'm asking her about things and I'm trying to ask nicely, she feels like I'm...
It is definitely an order.
Yeah, it's definitely an order.
So that gets quite annoying.
We had our first arguments, and we had to realize that we were like just every other couple, that we weren't in the honeymoon phase anymore. And I think that was like, we had a couple of arguments that left off both of us. I think we both have a big temper, but at the same time
we definitely clash with each other. Pretty well.
We clash well. Yes, babe, that's a very good way of putting it. But at the same time, it was like as soon as he left, I realized that it wasn't that. It was just she was the person I wanted to be with, and that when she left, I felt there was an emptiness, not only in my bed but also in my heart. So I wanted her back as soon as possible, and I actually flew over before Christmas, and then I came over for Christmas. On her first trip, when she came to spend Easter here, I thought, she's crazy coming over here to spend time with someone she's barely spent a whole day with.
It is pretty crazy to do though.
Yeah. But then after that, I realized that I wanted to spend time with her, and that we should be together. And the more time we spent together, the more I realized that I want to spend the rest of my life with her.
I think it was maybe a little bit easier for me to come over to you first and kind of make that first move after the work trip, because I was so used to travelling, so the distance wasn't that much of an issue for me. But also because, and this is really cheesy, but I was the one that just knew. As soon as I met Ingimar, I had like this feeling that was just like a really reassuring feeling that, I don't know, it does sound really cheesy, but I just knew that you were the person that I was meant to be with. Yeah, I feel incredibly lucky, because it was just such a reassuring feeling, and I knew it would all just work out. And it has been really hard, and like I've had to really push myself to come over here and, you know, to make the decision to move over here as well. I think that when we met, it was it all makes sense in hindsight, especially that we were supposed to meet that night, and that we've kind of helped each other out through all of the different things that we've gone through in the last like 2 years. It was only 2 years. And we're definitely stronger as a couple, but stronger individually because of that as well. You know, when you're single, you figure out who you are, and that's really important for when you get in a relationship.
Yeah, not to lose your identity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Especially if you're, you know, you're going into something like maybe online dating, you need to know who you are. But if you're...
Yeah, you're not trying to be someone for the other person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or thinking that you need to be a certain person to get a boyfriend or a girlfriend. And we're not here to give relationship advice or whatever, but this is our story, our thing that has worked and is working and is brilliant, and I'm incredibly happy. And
Lucky.
yeah, I'm just
Don't
really...
forget lucky. You're incredibly lucky.
Yes, lucky as well. But I really want you guys to have heard the story and maybe just, you know, take something away from this video.
If you made it this far, please mention it in the comments. I know this has been long.
We will see you in the next video. Bye!
Bye guys.
I won't lie, we might have even had a few bickery arguments whilst filming this.
Certain Scottish flavour to the language. And that can...
Didn't ken what you're talking about.
I didn't can now. And shut your giggy.
You know, maybe there's more than one person out there that's like you're Mr. or Mrs. Right or whatever, but...
Yeah, if you think you're the right guy for her, I will come. I will find you and I will reassure you, you are not.